Greetings, travelers. This is General Duke, and welcome back to Diablo 4, when we enter the world of Sanctuary. Today, as I'm continuing on as the Necromancer.
The storm has passed.
As we're going through, I'm just only kind of like looking around, gaining the little XP I can get, killing off the, I think it's like cult wargs. Basically, just not. I think they're like long lost druids that went more onto the animalistic side, I think it is. That's the lore of them. But right now I'm just exploring to see if I can get any extra little gold and equipment around here. It's like hidden throughout. Now as a necromancer, I can get to command the army of the undead. So every time an enemy dies, I can summon a skeleton. I do have a set number of them I can have at a time. I think it's 4 at first. And then each time I try to resummon another skeleton, it just boosts their stats for a few seconds. And Diablo 4 takes place approximately 50 years after Diablo 3, Act 5. So, this world of Sanctuary has, gone through a lot of changes. If those who played Diablo 3 or know of how Diablo 3 ended, initially, a lot of people perished by the end of Diablo 3. There's a catastrophe that ended up happening, so now the Sanctuary is in a bit of disarray. There's not a lot of like strong factions of people anymore. It's very survival of the fittest. There's not much word of the high heavens, the angelic council, or any angels really. We only hear whispers of one angel that might be around. But we just know demons supposedly are running amok in the ruins of Sanctuary.
Another abandoned town.
Demons everywhere. Fangs in the dark. Ah, he bit me!
Careful! He's a wild one.
What's it to you?
Oswin, hush! I'm sorry, Wanderer. You've come at a difficult time. This madman just stumbled into town and started causing trouble.
Demons spilling from the ruins. Kill us all! Kill us all!
Ruins? What is he talking about?
Come, I'll explain. There is evil staring at the ruins to the north. That poor monk back there must have gone inside. Even a holy man like him was driven mad by whatever he saw. I'm sorry, it's a bit cramped.
It's still better than a cave.
Nothing special about our little town, but it's home. We'll do what we can for him. Might have to keep him in the shed for now, though. He tried to bite off Osman's fingers. Could you protect us from whatever is out there? We have nowhere else to turn.
Evil is gathering strength in those ruins. I will bring it to heal.
Truly? Oh, thank you.
Fire's looking good, but I should watch it a little longer to make sure it doesn't go out.
What's that? You say something?
Let me help you out. If Devmir's taking up all the space by the fire, just give him a shove.
For the skill trees and all that, as we level up, we get like a little skill point we can put into various different abilities and talents. Because for our core abilities, they give us energy, and the energy is used for our spells. But for the necromancer, it's called essence. Bone splitters are good last time. Hemorrhage is decent. It's really tough because you can always change it and go for something different. I didn't use bone splinters before, so rather give it a try now. And you start off, you don't really get a whole lot, just whatever was on your character's back, even a really broken shield. But it's unique. It's antique. It's antique. And this is Diablo 4 server slam. It's not the official game, so we only really get to play Act 1. And then once we finished Act 1 fully, really, it just kind of stops there. Can't continue on any more quests, but we can continue doing more dungeons and other events. Events take place like the world boss Ashava. In this server slam, she was spawning every 3 hours. In open game, it might be fewer than that. We'll see, I think, when the game comes out. For the most part, I'll be going through the campaign this time. And then when the game comes out fully, I'll post more videos and I'll play each character. I really want to try the druid. And with the, the look of the game thus far in this moment, you can call Diablo 4 a dark game. What's your drum roll right here? Huh. One of the things that they haven't changed too much from Diablo 3 with the armor sets is that with armor, it does increase your powers a bit, like quite a lot, obviously, but like, you're not so weak without your armor. That your skill points and, your timing of using your skills and such will help you along, and your power isn't, like, you can take off your armors and all that, and you're not puny. You can still fight, you can still dish it out, but the enemies are going to be at your base level. So if you're a level, 30, the enemies are going to be a level 30 power as well. And then the thing with Diablo 4, you can refund your skills. I think early on, it's free. I think. Oh yeah, it's free. But when you level up and you have more skills and your tree grows like further down, it does get more expensive. And the devs, they make it possible for you to refund your abilities and such like that, but it just becomes very pricey. And it may not be worth it. But to me, if you build up your character with the right legendaries, the right equipment, refunding it's not going to be necessary unless you really want to try something new. therefore, if you finish the campaign on your first character, then you can start off the second character not having to worry about too much. You can just level them up really quick because you might already know where everything is, and then have that dream build right there. Because you can share your equipment with your other characters because they all share the same like community chest, but I don't think there's much of a big deal to farm gold because gold really wouldn't be that hard. There are a lot of like events that make it where every time you hit an enemy you drop gold. So refunding your abilities and stats, it's not a bad idea. Just don't waste your gold on purchasing equipment, because honestly there's no point to buying a weapon or buying armor when you will always find better armor and stuff like that, or you can upgrade what you have, and then once you upgrade whatever you have, you might still find something better. So you never want to buy a weapon because it's like oftentimes like 40,000 gold pieces, and when refunding your equipment might not even cost that much entirety. So there are more things you can waste your gold on that make no sense. In Diablo 3, rare items were very common. You would more find 8 rare pieces of armor and maybe find like 5 common, non-magic type armors and weapons. But when it came to like legendary stuff, depending on your magic find back in Diablo 3, you probably could find 6 legendaries in one playthrough, like in an hour sense. But here in Diablo 4, it's not impossible, but you're more than likely to find 3 rare pieces of item than any uniques or legendaries. They made them really rare because they are a lot more powerful now in Diablo 4. They can boost a whole set of abilities by 1 point, so like you could have multiple abilities at once that are already leveled up by 1 legendary. I'm pretty sure like if you were to max out ish, get close to it, because it's really hard to get to level 100 in Diablo 4, but if you were to be max level and then transfer all of your equipment, legendaries, gems, all that kind of stuff to your new character and have them be beefed up early on, you would be able to level up a lot faster that way. Because the monsters and bosses level out to what your level is, not so much your like damage output. Which would be funny to see like a level 10 wipe out one of like the dungeon bosses and all that pretty quickly. Be with the server slam. This is the 3rd beta weekend before Diablo 4's release that had some nerfs and buffs to the various characters. The Necromancer is a bit weaker this time around, as well as the skeletons. The skeletons die a lot easier, and so you have to resummon them more. Personally, to me, that makes it like a viable character, I guess. Because I never liked that the skeletons either never died, or even if they did die, you bring them back and then they still wouldn't die again for a while. I like the fact that you have to resummon them, and I don't know, it feels like I have to interact with my character and play as my character more often rather than just use a spell, click attack, and then walk around or whatever. Like, my skeletons die, I'm like, oh, I have to bring them back up. Like, there's a difference in immersiveness, I guess you could say, for playing as the Necromancer this time. Like, I personally like this. I don't see any problem whatsoever with the skeletons being weaker. And that's kind of what upgrading's for. And being the necromancer, you command the undead, but your main thing isn't letting your skeletons do all the work and you sit back. Like, that's not the necromancer. There are a lot of people who complained about the necromancer skeletons dying too easily, and it's like, either you like to run past everything and let the skeletons do all the work, you know, that's fun for you, I guess. To me, it's just very immersive that you can dish out more damage than the skeletons you literally bring back via these piles of corpses. Like, I can't really imagine a pile of corpse like that turning into a skeleton and, you know, they are stronger than you. Like, I like how they did it. The Necromancer's been playing very, very nice. Still feels powerful. Obviously, we get the right equipment and you get the right, you know, upgrading settings and all that. But if you do it wrong, your character just doesn't do any damage whatsoever. And Diablo 4 has been a huge, massive upgrade compared to Diablo 3. These demons known as the Fallen are a lot less cartoony than they used to be in Diablo 3. They were goofy characters that didn't feel like they would do any damage, and like the whole, what do you call it? Like, it's clan of these demons. We'll see them later on in the game. But how they were in Diablo 3 just felt like a stereotypical cartoon group. You know, they would make a lot of noise, be a bit of a nuisance, but they would easily be wiped out in like 2 abilities. Now they feel like a challenge and definitely worthwhile, like letting them being resurrected so I can get more XP out of them. But they actually feel like a menacing force this time rather than Diablo 3. I've waited a long time for Diablo 4 to come out, and now that having it so far in my hands, it's been a very nice game. Didn't use Sever last time. I think I was primarily using Blood Lance or Bone Spear. Sever looks like a bombastic ability. If only I can dual wield. Going with one weapon at a time with the Necromancer. Seeing as throughout this boss battle, I do get a couple corpses dropped in every now and then because there's minions that I can kill. But as my skeletons are dying, it's, you know, distracting the boss a little bit that I can do damage on the side. I get more minions to kill, they turn into skeletons, and then just the cycle repeats. Rather than my skeleton, I don't know, it doesn't feel right that the skeletons just would survive through everything all the time. Very nice. First boss is down. And so many to go. Yeah, for the Necromancers, they have this new setup for the skeletons and their minions being called the Book of the Dead. I wish it was called the Economicon, but that just would fit so well. Instead of just Book of the Dead, it should just be the Necronomicon. But maybe the Necromancer using the now I can't say it. But the Book of the Dead just lets you choose the different types of skeletons, skeleton mages, which do ranged attacks, and the last one's the Golem, which is just a beefy tank zombie character. I'm actually kind of curious, how many people play Diablo 3, or even Diablo 2, if you play Diablo 2 Resurrected recently? Let me know down in the comments below which character you'd be looking forward to play Diablo 4.
The old ruins are clear. Your town should be safe now.
Truly. Ha! By the light, you are heaven sent. Oh, I'm so sorry. We haven't any coin to offer. But we have hot stew, good company, and...
Stay for a pint.
Wash out the taste of the stew.
We'd be honored if you'd join us.
To our savior.
By mother's blood, by mother's body, so shall you witness her glory before you die. Not ready yet.
They're coming! The whole damned village! Get up! Get up! We have to fight our way out!
There! Take them!
He delights